Yeah, let me ask you this though: why did you exclude protests?
Oh yeah, because in the question I posed, I excluded protests because the whole point of that has meaning and emotion to it. Like, I mean, you could say the same thing about concerts in
Definitely.
a sense, but the reason I exclude protests is not just because you're political or anything, but I think about the whole point of them is that the people are already swept up in something,
Sure,
and
sure.
that's why they're coming out.
I
You
see. I
know,
see.
like a lot of people, they could be like, I really like their music. That doesn't mean they're like totally impassioned by it. They're
Right,
just like, I
right.
like, or I like, the Dodgers or whatever.
I see your
But
point.
but protest already has that prerequisite is that the whole reason we're doing this is because we're so fucking moved by this.
Yes, yes. Let me just touch on protests really quick because you're right. I see the point you're making. I still think it's worth discussing because that is when I've obviously felt it the most for the reasons you say. It's that the deepest values you care about. You're with a bunch of like-minded people. You're pissed off. You're angry. You're upset. You're also hopeful. I mean, being in a protest and moving as one, it's an intoxicating
Oh well,
feeling.
yeah.
And you can see how even not even in political or non-political protests, when you get enough people together, there is a certain meta energy that takes over, and individuals kind of give over a sense of their own individuality to a bigger thing. And when you're doing that for a cause, not even just like an aesthetic feeling, but a cause you really believe in, that is intoxicating. And I've been in protests so many times, dude, where I will have tears running down my eyes, and I'm trying to hold back so I don't look weird. Like, why is Brett crying? But because I am so moved by the communality
Oh, and it works.
of what's happening.
I could understand how it would work on so many levels because it's specifically in a protest. One, just a physiological, psychological level. You're around a bunch of people. You're near each other. Yeah. Just whatever little energies that people have, you're near each other, and you all have this same sort of one or one similar to it, maybe frustration or courage or something that you want to do. And so you're around people that are just humming with that without saying a word.
Humming,
and you're close,
vibrating.
You're close together too.
Yeah.
You all start to gather, and like a protest. Not to say that they're not organized, but they're not doled out like a sporting event is, where you go sit here and you sit here and here we'll go buy popcorn here. No, it's people merging together in a little bit more unstructured way.
Yes.
So in that movement, and I would also say that the crowd dictates how it moves.
Absolutely.
Like in the speaker who's moving it, the chant, whatever, it's starting to, and you're vibing off of that, and so it's no longer like the reason I pose those other ones because I think of them as spectacles or things that you watch. You are, I don't want to call protest a spectacle, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. You are the thing. Instead of like coming to gather and watch and bear witness and be a spectator too, you are actually a part of this thing together.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. And here's another layer at protest. You're confronted by opposition. Either in the form of the people that come to counter protest you, which I've been in the face of, like standing like there's a thin police line between us and like far right-wing activists, and I see a fucking guy over there 20 feet away, and we're like flipping each other off, and like I remember like pointing at him, like when that line gives and we go, if we get a chance to go at each other, I'm coming for you, and he's like, what are you gonna do, you fucking pussy? And like you're just amped the fuck up. And I've been at another protest where counter protesters, like basically fascists, because of the sort of protest I'm in, they would come by and try to fuck with you. They would try to harass you, and they would come by in like a car, and they would have like Confederate flag and a "Don't Tread on Me" flag flying, and they burn rubber right in front of the protest, roll coal, whatever, to try to like fuck with you, make it loud and obnoxious, and they have that rubbery smell, and they're flying the flags that you hate in your face. And like a bunch of people will spontaneously, and I've been in groups like this, chase them down, rip the flags off their fucking car, get in confrontations with people. I've been at protests where literally the police line comes to push you back, and I am face to face, literally nose to nose with the police officer who has a billy club shoved into my fucking chest, and I am like talking to him like I'm in a fucking mindset of fighting, where I'm like you fucking pussy, put down the fucking baton and let's go at it right now. If you didn't have that fucking weapon, I'd kick the fuck out of you. He's like, you really think you would? Like, we're like at that point, we're two men, nose to nose, like fucking let's do it. But we're both being held back by, I don't want to go to jail, and he technically has a responsibility to try to de-escalate, but his testosterone is up, his adrenaline is up too. And you are ultimately, another man is in your face, calling you a fucking pussy and basically threatening to fight you. And it's just like a surreal experience. Like I've seen cops like fucking brutalize a woman like next to me. Like they sometimes will use their bikes to push back a crowd. and like slamming a bike into like a defenseless woman. And then it's just like, I'm not even in a protest anymore. I'm going to kick this guy's ass because he's beating a woman in front of me.
Right.
And so like that energy is also there, and it is fucking potent.
I was about to say, and no means excusing it, but remember that even if they come there with their, officially, and this is my job, and I have the shield down, and I have all this to stand back, and whatever, they are succumbing to the adrenaline and the fucking fear, or the
anger.
They take on that role if they're a police officer, just like, I'm gonna fucking, this is why I did it, so I can, all that, and it feeds off of other it's like a mist, like it's like when they spray a certain mist to like turn people into zombies or whatever.
The common mist they use.
yeah. But it is just in the air. It's like pheromones. It's you feed off of it, and so everybody's feeling like this. May be a hot take, but when you talk about the looting or destruction that happens, you could see that as a political outcry. But even because this happens a lot too, a lot of people just come because it's a fucking thing.
100%.
But they also, even though they're just like, oh, dude, I'm just I'm just radical centrist, and I don't care, I'm just non-person. But I think what they'll never admit is they get swept up in it too.
100%.
But they don't. Here's the problem though. Why they do dumb shit and just steal. Because they weren't there for the reason you were there, so now they have all this energy, all this adrenaline, but they don't have the direction for it. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna break something. Yeah. Literally, like a child that just is so pent up in a tantrum because they're feeling that too, but they didn't have a reason to come there. So now they're just like, smash this window.
Yeah, 100%, dude, 100%, and like that comes in with like that's why you kind of do need discipline. And honestly, like for a time, I had to pull back from going to protest because it did bring this part out of me that was ready to risk it all. Like whether it's a cop or a counter protester, I would start putting myself in a situation just without even thinking of getting ready to escalate things. I had been arrested. I had been tackled by cops, pepperballed by cops. They all piled me once at a anti-fascist protest. They were herding us around a corner, and they were picking off who they perceived to be as like leaders of it. Yeah. So they gave me the idea that just go around this corner, get out of here. And as I turned my back, they jumped on my back and tackled me because they wanted to arrest me. But and one of the cops, who was a lady cop, she got on top of me. And I was saying, because there's like 5 fucking cops on me, I was like, I'm pinned, my chest to the ground, and they're all like on me, like I'm not resisting anymore. And the lady cop, who was also being swept up, grabs my head and shoves my forehead into the concrete and rubs it. And like even in my like police photo, I have like a big red lump on my head. And she's like, "It's too late for that, motherfucker." Yeah. And she like dug my head into the fucking concrete on purpose. That wasn't necessary. They already arrested me, and I said I wasn't resisting. But I get it because she's also amped up.
Dude, it's road rage without cars.
Yeah. And then but if you don't have some discipline, you can see yourself just smashing something, just throwing something, and then you see other people start doing it, so law and order starts to break down. Yeah. People start looting, and you're like, I can go get some free shit, and like I'm in the cover of hundreds of randos around me. I'm not going to get singled out, and it can get crazy. It can get out of control, and you can see how that can take somebody over. So I really had to I got arrested and stuff, and I was like, bro, I got kids and stuff. I can make a difference in other ways. I can make more and better impact through like stuff like political education and organizing in ways that don't necessitate I put my physical safety and my freedom on the line at these protests that ultimately are easily subordinated by the state and just end up wrapping you up in the legal system, etc. I'm not putting people down who do that. There's a time and a place to put everything on the line, but I was getting to a point at some of these protests that I know that it was just a matter of time. Like when I was a matter of time before.
To get dangerous, and
I'm fighting, or I'm getting arrested, or I'm going to jail with felony charges, right. Because I got lost in the moment.
Right, and you know that you can have all this is what I'm going to do there, but again, when you're swept up in the mist,
all the plans fall apart.
Yeah, dude, everything. Because I could totally see that. Because here's the thing: when people would just be like, this is how the protest happens for the left. Look at what they're doing and stuff like this. I go, okay, is it about their ideology? Because explain to me when the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup that they fucking burn their city down. No, it's always that gathering of people, the attention, the adrenaline, all that type of stuff. It will always cause for that.
January 6th.
Right.
They succumb to the same exact feeling.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like the idea is that, well, there's a way. It's like every protest has the risk of doing that no matter what. Yeah. Because there's human beings there. And especially if there's an equal opposition, too. then you have
Those are the hottest.
right, and then it's just like it takes over, and then you get to the point where, well, then don't protest, because that would be the only thing you'd say. But the truth is, and no one wants. I mean, God, we're talking about nuance here, but like, no, that is the thing to realize is that it's not the ideology that does it. People fucking do it when they win the World Series.
Yeah.
And
the other thing about it is that it is fundamentally spontaneous. You say like, well, don't protest. That's just like saying to the wind, don't blow through the trees. Like if you push people far enough, if you touch certain people's buttons in certain ways, they will fucking come out into the street. All through history, all through like slave societies, feudal societies, capitalist societies, push enough buttons, fuck with a certain group of people, and what ends up happening when nothing else is available to them, they just come out into the streets pissed off.
Right.
And it's just like a fascinating aspect of human nature.
Mm-hmm. And that is one that has been pretty tried and true. Like you talked about, it was interesting going back centuries and all of that. That's been
all the way back.
We've done been doing that.
Yeah. Back to probably like fucking pre-hominid species of, like, I don't know if you don't take to the streets because you don't live in societies, but, you get a bunch of people, like a bunch of chimps in a forest pissed off, not rounding each other up. Let's go over to that other tree and fuck those chimps up.
Can you imagine a guy in Ogden, Nebraska who's just out on like his like gravel driveway? He's just like, fuck the police. And they're just, the sheriff's like, go back in, Bill.
Just one guy, one cop, squaring off at the fucking end of the driveway. Many such cases.
Yeah, but
okay, yeah.
That is why.